Welcome to Gnome Land. I have spent the last 14 months in various gnome lands and have had so much fun. It all started with the Spring Gnome Collection and I never dreamed what it would turn into. I've had so much fun creating these collections, I hope it shows. The first collection I'm going to tell you about today is Gnome Wonderland, which has 16 SKUs. The free pattern I created for this collection is the snow gauge and wall pocket. And for those looking forward to the snow-filled winter season, I thought the snow gauge would be a fun way to keep track of how much it snows. Every time you get an inch of snow, you add a snowflake, and hopefully you'll be able to fill up your gauge to the top. While you're waiting to add the snowflakes, you can keep them in your wall pocket, which also makes a cute wall hanging for winter. I had asked my sister to make the snow gauge sample. She loved the outcome but thought the snowflakes were a little bit small to sew and leave an opening to turn. So she sewed them all the way around and then slit a hole in the back and turned it right side out, and thought that was a little bit easier and that they turned out a little more round. I will add that note on the pattern. My sister also designed this quilt behind me using the gnome boxes. The boxes have cute sayings in there to inspire you: the magic of winter, be joyful, delight in the day. It makes for a neat quilt that's bright and fun, and it'd be great to snuggle by the fire under this quilt. My mother loves her Dunwoven tea towels, so she's been having fun making samples of the stripe fabric and putting them on the tea towels. The gnome doll panel comes with 4 dolls, and they are quick and easy and nice to set out for winter. They're fun to play with, and my mother was even chatting with Over the Rainbow Fabrics, and they had an idea of sewing just the front panel onto a jacket. Whatever you do with your fabric, I hope it turns out gnome-tastic. By far, I had the most fun creating the Spooktacular gnomes because Halloween is my very favorite holiday. This collection has 20 SKUs. I loved creating the panel, and that's where I started. It has the witches by the cauldron, and it works its way up to the haunted mushroom house at the top of the hill. When you enter the area, you'll see my gnome gargoyles on the pillars, and you'll notice the iron fence has little bats and spider webs on it. There's lots of little details in here that I think are really fun. I thought it would make a really cute door decoration, so I added a border and added little pockets to put little treats in. Not necessarily for your trick-or-treaters, but maybe for your children or grandchildren as they come through the door. I made 2 other free patterns to go with the collection. One is a trick-or-treat bag. It's quick and simple. It's very easy. A lot of years my boys used a pillowcase to put their candy in as they were walking the neighborhood, so this bag is a little reminiscent of that. It's just a little smaller. It has a wide opening to toss the candy in, and it has a handle. After making the bag, I folded the handle at the top and made a little 2-inch stitch to make a smaller grip for a smaller hand. This is the candy bowl, and I used the Gnome Bars candy fabric for the inside, and I think after looking at it, you'll be able to guess some of my favorite candies. I used some of my favorite gnomes for the doll panels, and I think they turned out really darling. I just wanted to show you 3 of my favorite fabrics from this collection. Now, actually, they're all my favorite because I had so much fun, but I think the ones that really stand out for me are the stripe, and I think it just tells a little story. You have the trick-or-treater carting his candy, you have the mummy, the pillars, the fence. The next fabric I wanted to show you is called Hocus Pocus Gnomes, and it's a toss of gnome witches, and you have moons and stars, witches, you have a few witches on brooms, and 2 witches by the cauldron. It's just really what Halloween is all about. And the third fabric I wanted to show you is called Spooky Gnome Scenic. And again, it just seems like it tells a story where you can go through the haunted town. You see the haunted mushroom house, and you can meander past the gargoyle gnomes, through the fence and by the spooky trees, and you find the witches and the graveyard. And there's a lot more fun fabrics in these collections. My mother made her tea towels again using this stripe for samples, and they really add a little bit of Halloween to your kitchen. And speaking of the kitchen, the gnomes from Gnome Body Bakes It Better joined me for some baking this winter. It has 23 SKUs, and the colors of the Baking Gnome collection are soft and warm. The collection has a boxes panel with fun sayings like "Let Love Rise" and "Just Roll With It." My first job was in a candy store on the Ocean City Boardwalk, and I remember loading up the macaroons in the display case, so I added them into the art. I loved painting all the other goodies, the cakes, the cookies, the cupcakes, the bread hot out of the oven. My mom used to bake desserts for the restaurant where I worked, and my nan used to bake pies for her church auction. So I come from a line of bakers and was excited to include family recipes, some of which are in their own handwriting, in the Nana's Recipes fabric. That's available in jade and pink. The free pattern that I created is this apron, and I love it so much I'm going to try it in different color combinations from the fabric. Once again, my mom used the striped fabric in this collection for tea towel samples. My sister created some cute little pot holders, and there is a doll panel with 3 baking gnomes available. I made a commercial pattern for placemats and a table runner. I just didn't have a chance to make the table runner yet. My sister made the same quilt she made for Gnome Wonderland in the baking fabric using the boxes panel. There's some more of the fun sayings. "Do not worry, be happy." I think you'll love the boxes. I had fun trying to make a 3D gnome, and I've made one for every collection. Gnomes to me are warm and friendly creatures, and in a lot of the art you'll find hearts. And it's no different in this pattern. I used a heart template to make the feet and also to make the mustache. It's a digital pattern available on my website. I think they turned out really cute. The colors in all the collections really stand out, and they're very eye-catching. They looked good on paper, but when I got the fabric samples, wow, they really stand out. I hope you love them as much as I do. I can't wait to see everything people create with these collections. It's going to be gnome-tastic.